Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, I'm Mary. I give you guys an extra warm welcome. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I appreciate you more than you know. For those of you who are new here and might be here for the first time, thank you for clicking on my video. I really appreciate it. I am a stay-at-home mom that loves makeup, and that is the main reason why I created this channel. So I would love it if you click that subscribe button. That way you can keep watching all the amazing videos that I bring to you. So for today's video, we're going to talk about color correcting. I want to say 2 years, maybe 2.5 years ago, color correcting was on trend, and it seems like it might be trying to come back. So for today's video, I am going to color correct on one side and not color correct on the other, just to see if we can even see a difference. I would say probably for special occasions would be an ideal situation for me myself to color correct. Say, you know, if I'm getting married or if I'm getting some professional photos done, then I would actually take the time to do that. But like on a regular day-to-day basis, I just don't think I need it. For today, we're going to prove, is color correcting really necessary for a day-to-day makeup? So without further ado, why don't we get started with this video? Well, I am going to be using the Shade and Light Cream Contour Palette by KBD Vegan Beauty. The reason I'm using this is because there are two peachy shades, this one and this one, which is a darker shade, and the middle shade is a yellow toned shade that I can use as a color corrector. I also have this green one by Maybelline. I bought this about 2 years ago when color correcting was on trend. This is what we're going to use for today. I am going to color correct this side, and this side I am not going to color correct. For today, we're going to use the It Cosmetics CZ Cream. This is in the shade Light. My skin has been so dry after the twins. I don't know what's going on with my hormones, but my skin did not go back to normal, and now it is actually normal to dry. I'm usually just normal skin with an oily T-zone, but it seems like after the twins, my T-zone is suffering because I am so dry. I am actually kind of sort of peeling just a tiny bit right here in this area, a little bit right here, and in here. It's just so dry. I even have been putting Neosporin like in these areas, like just a small amount, not a super huge amount, to get more hydration in there. And it's crazy what pregnancy does to you. Alright, so we're going to talk about color correcting. In case you didn't know, color correcting is used to conceal certain shades of color in your skin. For example, the green color corrector is meant to cover red spots. So if I were to use this, I would probably only use it around my nose a tiny bit, and that's only because of the little redness that I get around my nose from like the little blood vessels, which is a very common thing that a lot of women get right around their nose. You could also use the yellow shade for around the nose. Yellow also neutralizes like redness in your skin. For the peachy tones, which is usually what I tend to gravitate towards too when I do want to color correct, that covers up like yellow hues, sometimes green. I know in some areas I do have green like around here, and for sure around my eyes, especially when I'm really tired and my bags are very prominent. It's mostly like a dark yellow with a mix of green in there. So when I color correct, or when I feel like I need to, the shade that I like to use is a peachy shade, and that's because it just neutralizes everything and it brightens up the areas where I need it. For the purple color corrector, that usually neutralizes like orange or yellow hues. If you're an artist, then you know all about the color wheel. So basically, the color opposite from say red, across from it is green. So it makes sense that you would use the opposite color in the color wheel to conceal the color that you're trying to cover up. That is the purpose of color correcting, and if you don't know how it works, just look at a color wheel and you'll see exactly what shade you need to use. Why don't we get started, shall we? Okay, I am actually going to just stick to this palette right here. I don't feel like I have enough redness for me to use the green. Now, I know when you see color correcting on YouTube videos, you see them exaggerate what they're doing. Like literally putting so much product, and you don't need that much product, because think about it. Say you lay down almost, you know, a layer that you would lay down with like foundation. You now have to cover up that layer of color corrector with foundation. So that means you're gonna have double the product on your face, which when you have double the product on your face, it makes it look cakey. And I think that is the misconception that a lot of people get from color correcting and looking at YouTube videos when it comes to that. We're not going to do that today. I'm not going to do that whole TikTok trend where like I pile on the freaking color corrector and I look like a clown. That's not going to happen. So I am going to use the lighter peach shade from the KVD Vegan Beauty palette, which is this one right here. As you can tell, I have dipped into it. And I think I'll use the yellow one around my nose just a tiny bit. I'm using a Morphe brush. This is like a flat brush. It does not have a number on it because it came in like an eyeshadow bundle. I'm going to put this under my eye and I am going to blend. As you can see, I used a very small amount. I did not use a big amount of this product. I'm not trying to cake my face. That's not the purpose of color correcting. And as you can see, it's already doing what it's supposed to do. It's already making my eye look just so much better. And then we're going to put the concealer and the foundation on after. But I am going to do the foundation first. That way, once I lay down the foundation and if I feel like I need to actually put concealer down, then I will. Because there's no need to put more product on your face than you should, you know? Okay, that looks good. I think that looks very good. Oh my gosh, I haven't color corrected in quite some time. But I feel like when you start seeing trends coming into place, it's better to do what works for you and not just what's on trend, you know? Right, now with the other side, I'm going to dip into that middle yellow shade. I'm literally picking up just a tiny bit. It's not even all that much. Now I'm going to use this around my nose. And just like most women, around our nose, we have like those red little capillaries that make it look red around our noses, right? Some women have it more prominent than others. I definitely feel like for me, it's pretty prominent, especially like around this area right here. But as you can tell, I laid down just a tiny bit of that yellow shade and it's already gone. So you can already see the difference between this side and this side. I neutralized around my nose and on under my eyes. Like, it's a pretty big difference, and I didn't even use that much product. Right? And I'm using a small brush just so it could be nice and precise, you know? I think we are set. All right, now we're going to go into foundation just so we can see if you really can see a difference between this side and this side once I lay down the foundation. And this is actually a CC cream, so you can build up the coverage, but I am more of a natural look kind of gal, so I don't like to pile on my foundation. That's just not, I don't like that anymore. I used to, not anymore. I'm going to go in with my Morphe M439. This is a foundation brush. So as you can see, I only laid down the CC cream on the areas where I would put foundation on and not where I would put, like, if I needed concealer on. So like under my eyes, I stayed away from that area. Also like around my nose, I'm not gonna go too heavy around there. I did prep my skin before starting this, and in case you are wondering, I used the Wet n Wild little primer serum to kind of give my face nice and ready. And then I used the Laura Geller little primer for my T-zone. I like to use a different primer for my T-zone just to get my pores nice and filled. And for the rest of my face, I use the Ofra Cosmetics. This is the Northern Lights primer. I love that primer. These are all super hydrating primers. Right now my skin is so dry that every single primer I'm using is nice and hydrating. This is what the CC cream is looking like right now. And as you can see on this side, if I really wanted to, I could just leave it here and it looks good. So you can definitely see the difference between this under eye and this under eye. I went in with foundation up to right here and not under the eye. So I'll probably be putting concealer more on this side than this side. I still feel like on this side I do need tiny bit, especially around my nose. It seems like that's the hardest part to cover up. So concealers. I don't know if you have noticed, when you buy a concealer, if you buy a concealer that it has like a peachy tone to it, this is the Revolution Makeup Conceal and Hydrate concealer. This is in the color C4, and this one has a little bit of a peach tone. These are good for brightening under the eyes. So if you have like yellow or a little bit of tiny green under your eyes, this will definitely brighten up your under eye. These are from ColourPop, and these have more of a yellow tone to them, especially this one. I like to mix this two because this one's a little too dark and this one is too light. Since I feel like we can see more yellow on this side, I'm going to use the ColourPop one, and for this side I'm going to use the Makeup Revolution one, which is funny because the color corrector was the peach one that I used. So I am going to go here, 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 and I'm going to put just a tiny bit of the darker one. And for this side, I don't need much. I am going to go, let me grab my mirror and see exactly where. Here, here, here. Yeah, so I definitely used a lot more on this side than I am on this side. I usually like to let my concealers sit for a tiny bit. The coverage is actually a tiny bit better when you let your concealers sit just for a little bit and let them dry just a tiny bit. Since this side has less product than the other side, I'm going to start off by blending this side. And this is just a Zoraya Flawless Concealer Brush, 860. I got this off of Amazon a long time ago, and I actually really like it as a concealer brush. It blends out my concealer perfect. They also have setting powders that have different tones in them. That also helps with covering up under circles. So if you want your under eye to be a little bit brighter, you could definitely use a setting powder that has more of a peach tone. Or say you want more coverage on your under eyes because the concealer is just not doing it, then you can definitely use a setting powder that has a yellow hue to it. There's definitely more options than just using color corrector and concealer. Other stuff can add to the coverage of what you're trying, of the color you're trying to cover up. I don't have any like facial hair, which I feel would be the instance where you would see more of a like red tone color corrector. So like that really dark deep orange that you see like James Charles use. It's because when they shave, like they have like this green hue to their skin where they have their after shadow. Women don't really need to do that because they don't have thick facial hair like that, you know? I wish I could show you guys how dry my under eyes are, but I'm not gonna because I'm so embarrassed. Alright, and this is what the face looks like. So let's compare. This side, you can definitely tell that my under eyes are a little bit brighter and I just look more awake. And this side, it kind of just looks like I neutralized and made every single part of my face look like one tone, one shade. So this on this side where I did not color correct is what I would wear on a normal day-to-day basis, just because I don't feel like I need to brighten up my eyes, especially if I'm just doing like a simple look. I'm going to the grocery store or something. This right here is doable. Now, say I were having my pictures taken professionally, this is what I would do, just because it would lift up my under eyes and kind of give me like that nice and lifted look that I definitely want to make sure that comes across in the pictures. So you can see that you really don't need color correcting like every day. At least for me personally, I don't think you need to. For sure, color correcting I feel is more for like special occasion when you know your picture is going to be taken. But this on a day-to-day is what I typically wear just because I feel this does the job. I don't need any color correcting every day. It's just ridiculous. All right, now I'm going to go in with a translucent powder to set my face, and I'm going to use the Wet n Wild translucent powder. This one is, it does not have I feel like it has, on the camera it looks yellow, but to me I feel like it has a tiny bit of like a peach undertone to it. So this I feel like definitely brightens up your eyes. And like I said, you can buy a setting powder that has a different hue depending on what you want it to do. So I definitely like this Wet n Wild setting powder for under my eyes just because I feel like it brightens up my eyes just a tiny bit. And I literally just barely dip it, and that's what I use for my under eyes, especially right now since my eyes are so dry, especially right where my bags are. I am barely using any powder under there just because I'm telling you, man, having kids and getting pregnant really just fucks you up. Excuse my language, but my skin is frustrating me a lot right now. It really is. Okay, and this is the finished face. I definitely feel like this side looks more lifted than this side, only because I feel like my under eye is just a tiny bit brighter than this side. Once you pile everything else on, the difference isn't really like completely there unless I use more product, but there's no point in that because I don't need to use more product. But I definitely for sure, and you guys can tell me if you see it or not, I feel like this side looks brighter than this side. Why don't you let me know down below? I guess the main purpose of this video is to basically tell you to stop color correcting like a TikToker or like an Instagram beauty influencer, like Robert Welsh says. And I'll go ahead and link his channel down below. He is an actual makeup artist that does makeup educational videos. If you want to go check him out, there's lots of great tips that he gives in his videos. But what he says is those people on TikTok and on Instagram, the only reason they do anything makeup related where they do like seriously out of the world, like piling on crap on your face for views. That's the only reason they're doing the things that they do, is so that I can get more views and so that they can get paid. That's the reason why they do it. So if you see a crazy beauty trend on like Instagram or TikTok, don't do it. Just don't do it, because it's only being done for the views. It's not an actual makeup hack that you can use in the real world. It's just not. Some people might disagree with me, but if you really think about it, they're doing it for the views. But I think that pretty much concludes this video. It's a pretty short video. I just wanted to get across that you don't need to color correct like the crazy videos you see on social media. And for some reason, I don't know, I feel like I've been seeing a lot more color correcting videos like on my Instagram feed when I go to like the explore section. And I just felt compelled to make this video and show you what a real normal person out there in the world that does their makeup for like work or the grocery store, or, you know, a mom of like 5 kids that just wants to, you know, do her makeup for the day. This is how normal people color correct. Not the crazy videos you see on social media. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate every single one of you, and I would love it if you gave this video a big thumbs up. If you enjoyed it and possibly learned something new, it would really help me out in the algorithm. And if you haven't done so already, I would love it if you joined my small YouTube family and clicked that subscribe button. I would love to have you. I currently have a little challenge going on, and I am creating an eye look with every single eyeshadow palette that I own. So that's 50+ videos that will be going up on my channel for sure before the end of 2021. So again, click that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and I will see you guys on the next video. Bye!